Hey, the CEOs of companies like Google, like Apple, are sitting on piles of cash, but they're afraid to create jobs here in the United States. They blame high corporate taxes and too much government regulation. So who's really responsible for creating jobs? Should they show more patriotism? Joining us right now for a fair and balanced debate is senior editor of the American Spectator, John Fund, and radio talk show host Neal Asbury. Neal, to you first. Should these companies feel an obligation towards this country to bring their business here?
Well, Brian, it's all about the environment. It's true that made in America means jobs in America, but this administration has been woefully inadequate at creating the environment to make our companies want to stay here. Now, I'll just take my own example. Yes, I'm a radio host, but I'm also a manufacturer and an exporter. And I got to look at myself every morning in the mirror, and I make some decisions that I'm not particularly proud of about where to make things and where to buy things. I have to deal with the world in the way that it is, not the way that I wish it to be. You know, we're dealing in this dysfunctional world, right? We're dealing in, and we all have to fit in or we have to perish. So I'm very upset, yes, with myself and with other American companies for moving overseas, but it's all about the environment. And this government needs to create the environment. They don't create the jobs, but they create the environment.
All right, John, we got 24,000 employees for Google. We got 49,000 employees for Apple, 2,000 employees for Facebook. A lot of them are not here. Whose fault is that?
Well, remember, these are different manufacturing companies. Instead of producing things you can really touch, they're producing software. They're producing things of the mind. So they have incredibly portable capital. Capital goes where it's best treated. And as Neal says, right now we have a situation of incredible uncertainty in this country. The papers today show, look, there's going to be changes in the small business tax deductions if we have a budget deal. All kinds of tax increases that will burden small business. Do you think anyone wants to create jobs in this kind of uncertain environment? No. That's why we have $2 trillion in capital sitting on the sidelines, not creating jobs, because nobody knows what the future is, and they fear the future is a lot more taxes and a lot more regulation.
And if you're listening on radio right now, Google's got $167 billion, Apple $317, and Facebook $100 billion. These people have all, the CEOs have all met with the president. They have been advisors to the president to a degree. Neal, why can't the president convince them to bring more jobs home?
Well, think about it. It's even worse than that. I mean, when these companies go overseas, it's not all what it's cranked up to be. I mean, there's a lack of efficiency and a lack of protections. They're jumping into environments where they have to kowtow to communists and technocrats. There is no due process to protect their intellectual property. They're getting ripped off with impunity. Yet they're going into that environment instead of staying home here. So we have to ask ourselves, why are we making them do that? Maybe we should be looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying something is wrong right here at home.
But, John, do you fault some of these CEOs? They have the president's ear. Can't they tell him the reason why the jobs aren't here?
Well, look, these CEOs aren't the first people who voted for Barack Obama, supported Barack Obama, gave to Barack Obama, and can't seem to get Barack Obama to listen. Barack Obama's problem is that he is trapped in a mindset which basically is all about fairness. It's all about burden sharing, and it's not really at its core about job creation. And no matter what these CEOs say, I don't see the administration moving. And I think they're going to have to, because unemployment rate is 9.1%. And if the president doesn't care about that economically, you should certainly care about that politically.
And we know about the corporate tax rate that's too high. The Deficit Commission recommended we lower it. Neal Asbury, John Fund, great debate. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Brian.
All right.